Welcome, everybody, to PSAB tonight. I hope everybody's doing well. Just to let you know, the meeting is being recorded, and I kind of wanted to start the meeting by making an announcement. Just a second, I'm going to let Shelby in really quick. Kim Marshall is no longer going to be facilitating our group. She's going to go and do some other great things. And anyway, I just want to let you know that. So in the meantime, I'm going to be doing the main facilitation, and then from Barney and Worth, Jenna Franklin. She's going to be helping out with that. And Jenna has lots of experience doing groups like this today. So we have a couple more meetings left, and she's just going to really fill in and be great. So with that, I think Chief wanted to say a couple things.
Yeah, thanks, Tammy. And you know, you're so close to bringing it to the finish line all the way through. But certainly understand your vision and the fact that you're leaving. But I just want to say thank you so much. You know, for 18 months and thinking about a facilitator, you're going, what's that really look like? And, you know, you were phenomenal in the way that you managed us, for lack of better, helped facilitate and really brought it to a level of professionalism while still allowing us to be us. And it was great to see you at the laser shot, to see you in person, to, you know, so, you know, I'll still recruit you when you get tired of having a week off and want to go back to work, then come look me up. But just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was just an absolute pleasure to have you facilitate, being the lead facilitator. Wish you the best. Please stay in touch, because I know that you are now forever connected into the law enforcement family. So again, just really appreciate what you bring to the table.
Thank you so much, Chief, and thank you all of you for just what has been a truly humbling experience. I do wish I could have seen it all the way through to the end of June, but no, I will be watching on YouTube. When I think back on everything we've done, we set out with this idea of co-creating the PSAB together, and didn't really have an idea of what that was going to look like and what it would come together as. But thank you all for your patience and your grace as we worked together and built something that I think has had a real positive impact in Tigard. So it's been lovely. And I will see you in July for the our event, our closing event. I will be there. But,
wonderful. Wonderful. Yes, thank you so much, Kim. And I ditto what the Chief said. It's been phenomenal. You have just made it all so easy. So thank you. And thank everybody on this board for your commitment to this very long and very worthwhile project. I was at the Pride Parade yesterday, speaking with a couple of police officers, and I mentioned I was on the board, and they said, "You guys are doing amazing work." So that was very, I said, Chief McDonald said we're supposed to say hello to you. So, or Commander McDonald, and they laughed. But anyway, they were very appreciative. So yay for all of us for sticking with this for so long. It has been an amazing experience. It really has.
So I'm sorry to come in late, but Kim, are you moving on to new things?
Yes, I left Barney and Worth. My last day was last Friday, so I wanted to get on and say goodbye to this group especially. It's been just such a pleasure.
We'll look forward to seeing you in July then.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna hop on.
I'll just jump on and say, yeah, ditto. It's I've only been working with you for, you know, a few months, I guess a month and a half that I've been here. So short term, but we talk a lot, you know, during the week in between meetings, and you've just been great. And I'm gonna miss working with you. And yeah, good luck with everything. And thanks for you and Tammy just doing such an awesome job facilitating. And so many good things have come out of PSAB so far. So a lot of that's due to you. So much appreciation.
Thank you. Yep. And then Tammy's been here obviously every step of the way. And so you guys are all in good hands. All right.
Thank you, Kim.
Have a good meeting.
We'll miss you. Oh,
And Jimmy Brown, we have a hand up.
yes.
Wow. I didn't expect this. I'm sure none of us expected it. But what I will say is I have spent 40 plus years in public services. I have been around some of the most phenomenal facilitators that have worked with municipalities, police, probation and parole. And I have to say, and I say this in all honesty, I have never been part of a facilitated group that has had the impact and the effect that you've helped bring forward, Tim. You have been open, you've been transparent, you have walked all the values that we've talked about in terms of PSAB. You have been a listener. You have been a most effective communicator. You have guided us through some challenges, I believe, and I believe you've done that with your eye on making sure that we stay true to the values that the group put together in our very beginning. I can only say that I will miss you. And for folks who do leave, we often feel a bit of sadness, but I can say you are leaving, I am believing, only because there are better things for you out there in the world. And I can honestly say that should you ever need a reference, you probably can find any one of us on the PSAB that would step forward and say, this person is the person that you want if you are going to be working within broad-based, diverse community groups. And I just want to say thank you so very much. You have been all that, and as a friend of mine would say, and a cup of cookies.
Thank you, Jimmy.
And welcome to Jenna as well. Welcome, Jenna. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. All right, so let's get this meeting started. I would like you to join me in centering our conversations tonight. First, I'm going to read a statement, and then I will ask you to join me in a breathing exercise to help bring focus and thoughtfulness to the conversations that we have today. Today, we convene to listen and learn from each other through reflection and discussion. As we reevaluate and improve our public safety practices, we elevate the voices and experiences of the communities who have been and continue to be disproportionately impacted by inequitable systems. We thank all those who have advocated and worked on dismantling injustices in Tigard and our broader community. We build off their efforts to create more equitable and just outcomes for people of all backgrounds and abilities. The purposes of our meetings continues to be to develop our understanding of current public safety structure, practices, and procedures, to identify and eliminate institutional racism within Tigard's public institutions by centering equity and racial justice, to bring forward the concerns and experiences of ourselves and our community, and to bring recommendations to city leadership to improve the lived experiences of all people in Tigard. Now, I would like to join me in a breathing exercise. During this time, you may turn off your cameras. Close your eyes and gaze softly downward. Feel the chair under your legs. Breathe in deeply through your nose and out of your mouth. Feel your hands in your lap. Breathe in deeply through your nose and out of your mouth. Feel your feet on the ground. Breathe in deeply through your nose and out of your mouth. Slowly open your eyes and begin to breathe normally. Thank you all for participating and creating space with me. Tammy, are you going to do the roll call this evening?
Yes, I will.
Right.
So, Jimmy McDonald,
Here?
Nick Nunn, No Nick. Shelby Rahala,
Here.
Michael O'Brien,
Here.
Emilio Calderon. Nope.
Here.
Liz Newman,
Here.
John Trin,
Present.
Jimmy Brown,
Here.
Patty Lofgren,
Here.
Justin Lowe, Danny Rauda, nope. Valerie Sasaki,
Here.
Sean, not here, and Nick Trimmer, Jeff Motter, not here. Roll call complete.
Jeff Mott just joined.
Oh, great.
All right. I do not believe there are any community members who have joined us tonight to speak, but we do want the community to know that public comments are vital to the board's mission, and we do welcome community feedback on our work. If you have comments for the board, written testimony must be submitted by 4:30 on the day of the meeting. If you would like to speak, you must email Alex Richardson at tigard.oregon.gov. I think at this point, Chief McAlpine, we are ready for your update on the Community Academy and the Department Recertification.
Well, thank you. And then when it comes to current events later on in our agenda, I'm going to ask Alex to share a few of the photos from our Pride Parade and then the silent walk. We'll talk a little bit more about at the end of this. So to mix it up just a little bit, I have asked Kelsey Anderson. Most of you know Kelsey, our PIO. She actually was instrumental between her and Commander McDonald, as you can imagine, were instrumental in reimagining what a community academy would look like in Tigard. So gave her a blank slate. Obviously, we've gone through a lot of presentations with the Public Safety Advisor Board. So we had a lot of topics, that we just presented on. And so we turned it over to Kelsey. And so what better way to share the experience than to have Kelsey share it with you through her eyes and the members of our community members who attended. So Kelsey, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, Chief, thank you. And good evening, PSAB members. It's good to be with you tonight. So I just wanted to give you a couple of minutes of an overview of our Community Academy. It just wrapped up at the end of May. It was an 8-week session where we had a group of about 22 people who either live or work in Tigard who committed to being a part of this process with us. And we had it over 8 weeks where they met for 2.5 hours a week and got to really learn quite a bit about what we do and why we do it. So we started with a tour of the police department to bring people inside so they could really see how we're laid out here and how we operate. We went over our hiring process, our training for new officers, the patrol division, including demonstrations from our K9 teams, our drone operators. We had a motors officer out there as well. Body worn cameras. So we went over that program as well. The traffic unit, I'm just looking at my list here because we had a lot of things that we covered and I want to make sure I don't miss anything. We also had our mental health response team present to the group along with our CSO, Brandon Peterson, who's been doing a lot of the outreach with the houseless community here in Tigard. And then we did kind of a special evening where we did round robins all night, where folks had about 15 minutes at various stations where they got to talk with our crime analyst, school resource officers, property and evidence specialists, record specialists, and our criminal investigations unit and commercial crimes unit. And then the following week, both of those investigative teams had more time to do a deeper dive into what they do and case studies. And part of that was also a forensics demonstration. And for the commercial crime side, our folks brought in a table of evidence that they've seized in various cases and kind of walked people through what each item was and the significance that it had. In the training area, we talked a lot about firearms, taser training, defensive tactics, but then also some of the classroom training that we go through in terms of de-escalation and crisis intervention, and some new technology that we have on board that's a virtual reality training that we're able to start doing as well. And then we talked about internal affairs investigations, complaints, the discipline matrix that you all have learned about as well, procedural justice and police legitimacy. We did a shortened laser shot demonstration where Commander McDonald went through that just to show the class what it looks like. And then the next week, we actually put people through a live scenario. So we took a few volunteers and set up a sort of a traffic stop, a suspicious circumstances call in the back of the PD lot here, and had people volunteer to be the officer going through that scenario. And then we wrapped it up with the chief. We did Community Academy Jeopardy, and people had a really fun time with that. And we handed out their graduation certificates. So all in all, we've gotten a lot of really good feedback. I was looking it up today, and we had a really big range of people in this group. Some folks as young as 18 and 20. I think we even had one who was finishing high school, and then up through age 77. So we had a mix of students and parents, retirees, people in the business community, just a really good mix, I think, of folks who live and work here in the city. So I put together a video. I asked some of them to volunteer to do an interview with me about their experience and some of their big takeaways at the end of this academy. So I just uploaded that and sent that over to Tammy, if you wouldn't mind playing that for us.
Everybody thinks, a police officer just kind of drives around and stops criminals. But, going through this, we got to tour the police department. We got to learn about the hiring process, the training programs that they go through, the use of body cameras, canine units, the criminal investigations, the commercial crimes unit. There's just so much that we got to learn to see what the police department actually does. And, we even got to do this live scenario, which really gives you an eye-opening experience at what a police officer might encounter on any given day.
I took away a lot. There's everything from the behind the scenes of what areas these people work at, the hiring process. That is amazing how it takes a full year pretty much to go through and then still be in a learning process.
For the most part, they were very amazing, very transparent, which I didn't think, but it was really nice. They're really cool people, and I enjoyed having those open conversations.
Well, I'm a mom, a mother of color of 2 young boys, and in the past 3 to 5 years, we've seen so much violence and hate, and school shootings, things that just kind of have rocked me to my core. I really wanted to see who's taking care of the people in our community. And so this was an incredibly motivating, encouraging program to hear firsthand from officers, from the chief, to shake hands and ask questions on a one-on-one level that just really solidified my faith in the people of Tigard and the people who work for us.
Coming in here, learned a process of a new respect for law enforcement, understanding of what they go through, what they do for us out here to be safe.
I walked away feeling pretty comfortable that, okay, we've got a police department that is accountable, that is transparent, and is willing to listen to the community. And, the group that we had in this class, it seemed like it was a pretty diverse group of people. And I would guess we each came in with our own opinions of what a police department is and how a police department operates. But I think after learning all this, I think we all walked away from that feeling pretty comfortable that our Tigard Police Department serves our community well.
Wow.
Ooh, yours was good.
Wow. I'd say come in, ask questions. Any reservations that you have, bring them, because no questions are answered if you don't ask the question. So why not try? Why not see who actually serves your community?
Do it. This has been an amazing experience, and definitely a really very beautiful experience. Good way to learn things and to really get those different perspectives.
You're going to learn a lot. You'll find a new respect if you don't already have it for law enforcement, and it opens your mind up.
It was both educational and fun, and we got fed. So what more can you ask for?
So those were 4 of the volunteers who wanted to share their experiences. I think, Chief and Commander McDonald and I all felt like the next Wednesday when our class was over and we weren't meeting, it was a little bittersweet because I think over that 8-week period, you really feel like you get to know people pretty well, a lot like this group, of course, on a much bigger scale. So that's the extent of what I wanted to share with you. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have along with the Commander and the Chief.
I don't see any hands up. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I will just remind everybody, again, early on when we met, you really encouraged us to find the time to reinstitute a community academy. So I'm hoping that you see a little part of you in this event. And we really were very intentional on making sure we had a diverse group and being welcoming, and to include, some of you that wanted to go through it and we had to politely tell you, turn you away the first time through. So hopefully you saw a little bit of you in this, that your fingerprints were all over that. And again, Kelsey, what a phenomenal video that you were able to put together. I think captured the essence of what we did during those 8 weeks. So I do appreciate that.
Great. It looks like Valerie has her hand up.
Yeah, so I think that was a great video, and I think it's really great to see those connections continuing to develop within the community. How often does the department plan on sponsoring something like this? Is there a plan for another one in the offing?
It's a bandwidth, it's energy. We definitely are talking about having an open house that obviously meets a different need with about 600-700 people. But, Kelsey was like, wait, I might be ready in the fall. And so if we can rally together, we're just going to do a little bit of a cost analysis just so we capture that. But I would imagine we are going to do one sooner rather than later, have another one come up, because I think the list is already growing to 17. So I think we will have enough people interested in attending.
Well, thank you so much for doing that, and thanks for putting together that video. I think it really helps to build those connections, which is really, the ultimate point of why we're doing this, right? Is to make sure that there's those lines of communication.
Great. Doesn't look like we have any other comments or hands up.
Excuse me, I guess I can't find my hands up. Everybody knows my technology challenges. I just think it's really great that we were able to find the bandwidth to do it. Great job, Kelsey. I remember when I went through it on the first go around, the first time they did it many years ago. It's so eye-opening for the community members. They're so appreciative. And so I think it really serves its purpose, as Valerie said, to make those connections. And it looks like people got a lot out of it. And I think it's interesting when people come into that academy not too sure, and they leave feeling, very confident in the people that are in our police department that serve our community. So I think that's the best benefit. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And we did hear from a couple of people towards the end of the sessions who said, coming into this, I really wasn't sure what to expect, or I wasn't sure how I felt about the department, but now I have a clear sense for, the identity of this department and what we do. And so that was, I think, a really gratifying thing for us to hear too.
And one of the other bonuses, we have at least for sure 2, possibly 3 interested in being a police officer, and one who is at least going to explore the job opening for the record specialist. So again, it'd be great if we can hire our own community.
Great. It looks like John Trin has his hands raised.
Yes. Thank you for the video. It was really good. My question is really concerning in terms of did any of the participants had any recommendations or comments regarding improvement that the department or the city could improve in?
You know, it's funny, not for improvement. What we heard most commonly was that we just needed more time. So I think next time we host an academy, we'll look at either having longer sessions each week or adding one or two to the curriculum. I think we just really weren't sure how many questions people would have and how long it would take to get through each topic area. And now I think we have a better sense for that. And people wanted more time to be able to ask those questions and dig a little deeper, which is great.
Thank you.
Anyone else before we move on? Great. So thank you, Kelsey. And then Chief, did you want to talk a little bit about department recertification?
Yes. As you know, through the process, we were accredited back in 2018 for the first time in probably a decade. And the first time with Oregon Accreditation Alliance. And you know that the legislation changed this last session that requires all agencies in Oregon to be accredited in 2025 or 2026. Well, I'm happy to announce we just made our first reaccreditation with flying colors, and we were awarded our certificate in April conference that Commander McDonald had a chance to attend. And then again, the director presented to council a couple weeks ago. So just again, wanted to share with you that 105 standards of best practice. The other thing, as being an OAA board member myself, we are always looking at incorporating, recent legislation that passed, making those standards. So again, always trying to hold ourselves to the highest standards out there. And so we're looking to add a few more standards in the next year upcoming. But again, happy to announce, and that was really Commander McDonald, Lisa Shaw, and Shelley Wirt were our close-knit team that worked very hard on identifying our proofs of compliance.
Anybody have any questions for the chief on that? No. Patty, do you want to introduce the next topic then?
Really
Actually,
quick,
I think
Tammy.
Liz has a question.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, really quick, Tammy. Chief, you had a report that was really good attached to the council agenda item when we got that presentation a couple of weeks ago. Is that easily available for folks that might want to look at it? It was well done and really helps people understand. I mean, I was impressed, but that's not the point. The point is that I think it really gives people a good understanding of what's all involved in this. So if that's readily available, you might already have it somewhere on your transparency page, but that was helpful. So.
No, and I appreciate that, and I'll make sure that I can't say that it was automatically done. So I will follow up on that because you're right. It's from the OAA independent body. So definitely will. I know we announced that we were reaccredited, but I don't think that we automatically attach the report. So I'll definitely follow up on that. Thank you.
All right.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Patty.
All right. So we are going to move on to the police and community relationship building presentation. I understand we're going to hear from the chief, and then we are going to go into breakout rooms.
Yeah, as we transition, it's like, what's next? How do we keep the momentum going with all the good work that all of you have done? And then I heard that also from the community academy. I had at least, half a dozen say, I want to still stay involved. What could I do? And I said, well, funny you should say that. But, because I've talked to you before about the concept of a chief's advisory board, advisory panel. And so again, I want to revisit that and really solicit some feedback from all of you on some of the components of that advisory panel. Let's just use it as a panel. So Tammy or Jenna, can you pull up that slide for me? And the next one, please. So a little bit of history. Chiefs advisory panels, boards, committees concept have been around for many years. I was aware of a Chiefs Advisory Board that Chief Al Orr had done prior to my taking over. I really felt like I didn't want to inherit, because Chiefs Advisory Boards are pretty small and intimate, or can be, and I really wanted to get to know the community and not just naturally take over somebody else's board. So that went along the wayside, with the intent that I always wanted to create another one. And so it's an opportunity to continue great foundational work that the PSAB has done, and also that the Community Academy has shared an interest in. And so at this point, I really want some input, because I intend to also let the council know that this is a way to continue the momentum and keep soliciting feedback from the community on a variety of topics. So next slide, please.
Are you saying?
Next slide. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
so a purpose of the board, it's a couple of different ways you can do it. So it's most police departments recognize a need for community advice or input. It is, some departments' intention that the advisory council the makeup is anywhere from 10 to 12. I've seen as many as 14, usually depends on the size of the population. The key here is that they represent a valid cross-section of the community. Things to consider, and these are things I'm going to ask your input on: neighborhoods, commercial interests, age, gender, ethnicity, income level, and many other individual criterion to get the best cross-section of input that I can get from our community. The nature of most advisory councils is intended to encourage diverse opinions. It's where the chief, it covers a variety of topics, provides the committee members with opportunities to express opinions. Those are generally how they're made up. Next slide, please. So some of the function is that it acts in a proactive manner. It's obviously to build trust between the police department and the community, address community concerns related to the quality of life. You can discuss issues related to the community affecting the police, public safety, discuss crime reduction programs while emphasizing the community policing philosophy, and basically to discuss how to improve upon the delivery of police services to a community. So it can cover, as you can see, a wide variety of topics. Next. Again, some 10 to 12, some meet periodically, and they say periodically. I think that gives them flexibility on if an issue comes up, they can meet. Others is quarterly, and some meet once a month. And again, I'm going to kind of ask for your opinions on that as well. And again, it just shows you, and this is Ben's, sorry, I do have a few examples. So theirs is 10 to 12. They are the ones that meet periodically. What their focus is, you can see it's pretty true to what I said. And then the chief covers a variety of topics. Next one, please. So Oregon City has an advisory group. They're the ones that meet 3 times a year. And again, theirs is just as a two-way conduit, funneling information, concerns, and issues. And they cover both police and fire. Next. Sherwood, theirs is different. They're appointed by council via a municipal code, must be impartial and unbiased. They meet every third Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. They take community comments in writing, and they have 9 members, 3-year terms for 6 members who reside in Sherwood, and the rest have to reside in that particular zip code. Next. Spokane is quite a bit larger, but so they have 14 members. Again, they function as a sounding board for the chief regarding community concerns and needs. And they have a criteria of representing groups and have 7 at-large groups. Next. So really what I'm asking all of you is in these breakouts, and I know Tammy will have them, but just your thoughts, and they don't have to be limited to this, but you know, what would be a good number for our panel. The makeup of the panel, who would you like to make sure is represented in there? Function of the panel, you can be as specific as you want or just echo some of the other scope, and the frequency of the meetings, and then of course anything else. Knowing again that those who attended the Community Academy have already asked that they be considered as part of the panel. And of course, I'm assuming that if not all of you are tired of meeting, you may want to continue the work and may be interested as well. So that is kind of what I'm looking for, is just a little bit of feedback from all of you.
Sorry, everybody, I'm going to be sending you to breakout rooms here, and we'll be doing 20 minutes in the breakout room. So just a moment here, and I will add a room.
Thank you, Tammy.
Okay, I'm going to add all the rooms. Give everybody a couple minutes. Is everybody back?
So Jamie, did we land on a commander's advisory panel? Is that what happened in the breakout session?
That's exactly what we did. Yeah. We decided all kinds of crazy things, Chief.
Great. Which room wants to volunteer to go first?
I can go first while my notes are fresh in my head.
Great.
Yeah. So, first, for the amount of people, we were thinking that 10 to 12 is good. We would suggest that there's an odd number of people just because having ties and votes is annoying. And that's if you are planning on having like a super majority rule or something. 10 or 12 people could get annoying if you have ties. Another thing that we said would be important for the how we get the committee is making sure we have people from we have background requirements just so that we're not getting people who all look the same, all from the same background. So then the department can find blind spots and we're not just getting the same perspective over and over. And we would also like to see a similar application process to what the BSAB had, just to make sure that the people are very interested and qualified. The second thing, I believe that is what they should do. I'm totally forgetting. There were 3 bullet points. Sorry, guys. As for like the work plan, we don't expect them to have like a very concrete like bullet point list like we had, though we would like to see some structure to the meetings just so that there is like set goals, set productivity that there would be. And that was about what we had on that. And I'm totally forgetting what the third question
Meeting frequency.
was.
Meeting frequency.
Oh, frequency. Thank you, Valerie. For frequency, we were thinking about once a month. We thought twice a month would be a bit too much, but that's obviously up to the chief. And we suggest that the chief should have the ability to hold whoever's leading the meeting should have the ability to hold like emergency meetings in response to any events that are going on, or if there's something coming up or just happened. But yeah, that's the main points that we talked about.
And group number 2.
And Jimmy was the breakout room chair. So we'll see if, Jimmy, are you able to come back on camera? There we go.
You're on mute, Jimmy.
Aha, I am back. Okay. So, sounds like our group also had some of the same thoughts as the first group. In broader senses, I'll just kind of give some of the thoughts. There clearly needs to be a clarity about the role of such a group. The group needs to be focused around diversity, utilizing a robust agenda, a range of discussions relating to things that are happening in the communities. A specific piece that came out was Liz discussing how the community engagement group that she's also a part of is focusing on the houseless community, and that looking at the houseless community from a police perspective, the role that the police plays in homelessness issues, and the complexity of that issue across the board, whether it be around state regulations or federal regulations or housing regulations, that this is certainly something that could be brought forward as a focal point for a police advisory board. Excuse me. Patty indicated that our focus around diversity also needs to include age diversity. We recognize that, we are no longer just a bedroom community to Portland, that we have elders in our community, but we have these emerging young families. We have young people all of whom have opinions and want to live in a safe community. That there be geographic representation, that the representation of the group also be ethnically diverse. We didn't fall on the side of any particular size of the group, although we indicated that 12 members would be probably the feel like the best size of the group. Anything more than 15 seems to be like it would be unwieldy. Frequency of meetings, anywhere from monthly to quarterly, but having the ability to be adaptive. That being adaptive in this kind of model allows for any type of incidents that are bubbling up in the community to be addressed by the chief to the advisory group. One thing that I will say that I did bring up, really coming back from the very beginnings of our PSAB, is that I see this as being an opportunity for not only the department to be involved in a broader community engagement opportunity, not just the chief. That this be viewed as the community engagement board for the department, as opposed to just the chief's advisory board. And I know it may very well be just a bit about what's the difference in a name, but I think the community's engagement board with the department feels like something that's more robust, that it's more expansive, that it fits into what are the issues that the management team are looking at, or the commanders group, or the labor side of the organization. What are the kinds of issues that they are looking at that need to be addressed and discussed? So let's see what else. I think, again, a lot of two-way communication, a lot of communication, not just the chief to the group, but also the group to the chief, and to the rest of the department. That this is really a robust type of activity, and that the group has the opportunity to reflect the needs of the community into department hierarchy. And lastly, although we did not get a chance to say this, I know with the demise, and that sounds kind of, sleight of hand, but with the ending of our charge as the PSAB, I feel like rather than recreating the wheel, that we take a look at seeking engagement, involvement of folks who are currently on the PSAB to see if they would be interested in participating in the next iteration of community engagement with the department. I say that because, oftentimes when committees end, we end up losing a lot of the historical context, and it creates a situation where we have to start all over again. There's such talent on this group. Valerie, Jeff, John, Emilio, Patty. I think that talent needs to be utilized and maintained going forward. And this certainly could be a way in which that happens. And after that, I'm done. I hope I got it all, folks.
Yeah, thank you. I really do appreciate the feedback, and a lot to think about, but definitely in alignment to what I had in mind. So a couple of tweaks, especially, the community engagement board or something along those lines. So yeah, give me something to think about. And you know, if anything else comes to mind, you have our emails, send it through Alex. And you know, just because 20 minutes isn't the only lasting time that you have an opportunity to reflect on this. You know, we also have sectors in our area, and so from a geographic standpoint, we could make sure that we advertise if you live in the zone, district, sector, things of that nature, our business community. So yeah, I really appreciate the feedback that you've given me.
I see that Jeff has his hand up.
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to echo two of the points around defined groups that Valerie brought up in our breakout room. Instead of just blanket diversity, and you think about it, have kind of like you're talking about specific groups, whether it's by race or ethnicity or age or geographical location. And the second point, I wanted to hop on Jimmy's conversation around the department panel. I mean, I had in mind, interacting with the mental health resource team or the new staff sergeant position. So I think while you'd be the point person, Chief, it'd definitely be beneficial to have this group, be sort of a hub within the department.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
So have we finished this particular topic this evening?
I think so.
Right, wonderful. So at this point, it is our opportunity to discuss any current events and or how they affect Tigard. There's something anyone wants to bring up at this time?
I would be happy to share a little bit about the Pride event, unless there was somebody that wanted to share something first.
That would be wonderful.
Okay, great. I just quickly put some photos into a slideshow, so I can just share that. Just to kind of give you, I feel like a visual sense is definitely good to get a sense of what this was like. So Chair Lofgren was there. Obviously the chief was there. I don't know if anybody else was. Did any of you end up attending the event? So I can
sorry, Alex, this is Councillor Newton. I was working a shift at the farmers market, so unfortunately I missed the event. So I'm looking forward to seeing the pictures.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing that. Yeah, I know Joanne was there too, and I did the farmers market a couple weeks ago, and that's so good too, to talk to a bunch of people there. I know that Councillor Goodhouse was there, Councillor President Lube was there, and a few other folks. But so what it was a parade, a car procession, really more than a parade, that started at Tualatin Middle School. We ended up having about 39 cars. They were all decorated and they were led by the chief. And then it just wound its way through just really a few blocks. It was only about a 5-minute drive, really, and no streets were closed, to Tigard High School. And then once there was a celebration in the parking lot, kind of near adjacent the soccer fields behind the school. So there are plenty of photos, which I think will be shared on social media, but I could just share a few here. So obviously this is the chief with Assistant City Manager Kathy Moreland. It was raining a little bit, but it wasn't terrible. It could have been worse. And then there was this nice decorating station for people to either make signs to cheer on people in the parade, or to actually people kind of leaned out of their car and held up signs or taped them to their cars. So these are a couple young people decorating. I just really like that hug. I actually don't even know who that is that the chief's hugging, but it's a nice hug.
That is Basic Rights of Oregon.
Awesome.
They had a booth for our transgender community, and we've been meeting in the virtual world. So it was really nice for her to introduce herself that day.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so Basic Rights Oregon was there. That's right. And then there was a vendor of like LGBTQ plus comic books, which was really popular. There were a couple food vendors and the library, and then of course the city / the school district kind of had a shared booth. We definitely plan to have more booths next year. I think the goal is to really build out the community aspect of it. So a lot more resources and nonprofits, as well as maybe a couple more local LGBTQ vendors. So just keep growing in size. But this is the first time we've ever had a celebration, like a more of a festival type of element. And it's only the second year we've even done a Pride event in Tigard. So definitely growing a little bit each year, partnering with the school district and seeing how we can keep expanding this. So yes, people with umbrellas outside of the truck, which is smart. I just love all the bright colors so much. I just thought that was super cute, little kid pride shirt. And that's all I pulled together just quickly. But I know that there will be a good deal more photos available on social media. So look out for those. And yeah, it was so fun. It just made me really happy to see so many excited people, especially I was saying earlier before everybody else joined the call that I was really pleased with the number of like teenagers and families with young kids and stuff. It was a broad range of ages, but I heard that there were a lot more young people this year than last year. And especially for teens, it just makes such a big difference for queer kids to feel like they have a place that they can belong. So yeah, that was great. And our partnership with the school district as a city just continues to grow and become stronger. And so it's a really element for the city to be so connected with the Tigard Tualatin School District. So this is a great opportunity for that. And then just a quick plug for Juneteenth, which will be this coming Saturday, the 18th from 1 to 6 at Bonita Park. That's also a partnership with Tigard Tualatin School District. So of course you're all welcome to attend that. I unfortunately won't be able to make it to that one because I have a family obligation, but I'll make sure that photos of that go on social media too. And then I can share them at the next meeting if desired. I think that about does it. Does anybody have any questions about the event at all?
There's a gathering at the park. Is it on the 11th of July?
Oh, the 18th.
18th, okay.
Yeah, the 18th. So Saturday, the day before Juneteenth, obviously, but June 19th falls on Father's Day. So there was some desire to kind of keep that separate. And I think there's going to be some music, some booths, kind of similar actually to the Pride event. And it's open to everybody, but obviously, the point there is to really highlight the visibility and make a safe, super fun space for the Black community members. And yeah, so far we've had a lot of student and parent feedback from the Black Parent and Student Union in the district. So I think a lot of the ideas for who's going to be there in terms of vendors and such have come straight from community members. So it's going to be, I think, a lot of love and a lot of great feelings there. So yeah, well, thank you. And yeah, hopefully I'll, maybe after PSAB ends too, I'll continue to be really involved in these events. I'd love to see you at any of them. And we also do take volunteers for events. So of course, please feel free to reach out to me if you want to just volunteer, just to kind of be involved on the inside a little bit too. So thank you.
It looks like Valerie has her hand raised.
Yeah, so this is all really great. And honestly, it makes me happy to be part of this community, to see people being supportive of their community members. The chief did allude at the beginning of the meeting to a less supportive incident that happened relatively recently. And so I was just wondering if we knew anything, or if anybody had been able to go to the silent march through Summerfield that happened.
So I'll be able to share with you on that. So a little bit later at about 1:30, some of the Summerfield residents rallied together when they heard about an incident that happened, I believe, on May 30th or a week and a half ago of an incident. And so they organized a silent walk. And I think all of you might have got the invitation. But where it stemmed from is a Black male resident of King City who often likes to walk to some friend's house in Summerfield was doing so. He prefers to walk on the street rather than sidewalks. And I think a driver took offense to him being on the street, and there was some words exchanged. The car drove off and then decided to do a U-turn and had some more words to exchange, to which time he used the N-word one or a couple times, and then also said to the point of, why don't you go back to Africa? When he pulled away, and he was really close to the victim felt like his toes might have been run over by the car. That's how close they were. And so thankfully, when he got to a friend's house, we had an opportunity to respond and take that report. He did get a license plate of the car, and so the registered owner was contacted and basically denies ever being there in the incident. So it's assigned to a detective, but and so with the group, I of course said, may I join, since I was already going to be out, and was wholeheartedly welcome. And they just asked me to, similar to what I did with the PSAB, is really talk about the new legislation and what's the difference between a bias incident and a bias crime. So I had the opportunity to talk about that. They had about 45 community members walk, and not everybody made it all the way to what we consider the rally point, which was a midpoint at a podiatrist office in their parking lot. But information was exchanged. I got to talk to the victim, who really did not want to be called out and wanted to support the event, but wanted some little level of anonymity, and well supported by the King City mayor, by several of our counselors, to include Councilor Newton, Council President Lube, and Councilor Goodhouse. So yeah, it was just, it was really good to see a community say, that's not what we stand for, and to immediately take action. They walked back and they decided it wasn't going to be a silent walk back. And so they had some signage and, voice their opinion, but I cannot speak for the victim, but he, he seemed to really appreciate the support. And then moving forward, like I said, it's an ongoing investigation.
Thank you both to Alex and to Chief for that update. Any other issues or events in the city of Tigard that folks want to bring forward at this point?
There was going to be a celebration for the PSAB board. What was that date?
I believe July the 11th. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, it'll be July 11th at Cook Park. I'll send out an invitation this week, so you can all hold it on your calendars. And yeah, it'll be, I forget which shelter it is exactly, but I will put that in the invitation, and we'll be providing dinner. So no need to bring anything. If you want to bring something, you're welcome to bring a sweet or a dessert or something like that to share, but we'll feed y'all, and we'll just have a really nice time hanging out. And I believe Kim will be making a return for that too. So
yes, she will.
Yeah, so invitation forthcoming, but save the date. We'll be looking forward to it.
All right, thank you.
Does everybody do gluten and dairy? Are there any vegans or non-gluten people? You're a vegan? Okay. Do you do gluten? Sorry, I know this is not important, but if we're bringing something, then I need to know what the guardrails are.
Yeah, I'm vegan, but don't worry about me. Bring whatever is delicious and you want to make.
Thanks, Valerie.
All right, any other topics people want to bring up at this point in time? So Tammy, were you going to talk at all about future topics or next?
I'll talk next steps. So it is hard to believe, everybody, but our next meeting is our last meeting. And so we're going to be doing a little bit of closing and reflection in that meeting. I'm kind of opening it up, talking about what we've learned, what our experiences with this group and everything, and having the conversation really loose. And then again, as we mentioned, we will just follow up with our celebration event at Cooks Park the weeks after that. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything like that? That is all I have then, Patty.
All right, thank you, Tammy. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion or opposition? All right, I guess our meeting is adjourned. I hope everyone enjoys the rain.
Have a good
Night,
evening,
everyone.
everyone.